Senior interviews, fans, we've got 1 weekend in the book and 4 matches coming up. Actually, 5 matches in 3 days, because after the SFA Invitational here on a home court, we'll play at Louisiana Monroe on Labor Day. And Tori Bates is with us today. And Tori, you know, when I think about the time that you've been here at SFA, one of the first things I wanted to ask you is there anything in your mind that sort of after you finished the spring or coming into this fall season you said, this is my senior year, and this is the one thing I want to do different?
I think it'd just be more aggressive when I'm up in the front row, more swings instead of shots, and just, you know, really going off those hands. And when I get that split, taking care of that ball. So
tournament time is a time sort of before conference where we get to see a lot of different girls in a lot of different spots. You know, you've got a lot of matches in a lot of days, so you kind of go deep sometimes on the bench. And I remember last year when we were at Rice, right before conference started, that you didn't start the first 2 matches there, but then the Rice match, D-Hump put you in, and you were just a huge spark, wound up having a tie for your season high with 14 kills. What did you learn sort of from that period where you were used to playing, but then for a little while there you weren't, and all of a sudden we're kind of back on the scene?
it just really opened my eyes to make me realize not to take what I have for granted, because we have such a talented team and such depth in our roster that if one's not getting the job done, we have others to put in there. So every time you step on that court, you need to take advantage of what a great opportunity you have to play Division I volleyball. So I think that really just opened my eyes.
You know, people around the conference, other coaches, SIDs, people that do similar jobs to myself, they certainly haven't forgot about you. We have preseason all Southland Conference teams as well as postseason, and this year you were second team represented among the league. What do those sort of accolades mean to you? I know that it's team first. I understand that, but does that sort of give you confidence and a feeling of, hey, you know, people still know that I can bring it night in, night out?
I definitely wasn't expecting it, and like you said, it is team first, but it was nice to know that I'm not overlooked and that teams will respect what I have to bring, and that way we'll get more splits on the block, and that'll open up our middles and our right sides and hopefully just make the flow of the game a lot easier.
Your freshman year here, you also made honorable mention postseason All-Southland Conference as a freshman. That was the year that Jill Ivey sort of had her breakout. The two of you each had 1,000 attacks that year. You're kind of the twin killers. When you look at the freshmen, and I know we had a leadership meeting over here on the side, and there was some conversation about integrating freshmen and how to address them. What do you see the impact of the freshmen so far bringing to this year's squad?
I definitely think our freshmen have a lot to bring. Our recruiting year is very good, and they have a lot of talent. Haley Coleman is a very smart hitter. She knows what her shots are. She knows how to handle the ball. Hannah Mack is just a beast of a blocker. I mean, she proved that this weekend against multiple teams. And she's got that swing that when we can get her a good ball, it's going to be on the floor. But I think we have many other freshmen who eventually will get to that playing spot. But right now we have such a talented returning group as well that it makes it a little more difficult. But that gives us a great practice team, and that's how we'll be better than everyone in the conference.
You talk about making smart shots. That's one of the things when I look back at your 4 years in purple that I see myself in that freshman year, you know, a lot of crossing, really hard shots, a lot of times to go line, really hard, you know, power arm type stuff. But you really have developed an incredible roll shot, and you see that. I saw that both last year. I've seen it in practice. Saw it today. Saw it versus Auburn and the teams you played. Is that something that you just feel when you go up to swing? Is that something you actually see? Take me through the decision-making process of whether to actually full arm something or whether to do that little roll, a lot of times hitting right in the middle of the center of the court.
Usually if you're 6'1" and pretty good size like I am, teams tend to get dug in on their heels, and they're like, oh, she's going to hit the crap out of this. And then you come in with that off speed, and they're not ready for it because they wouldn't expect a 6'1" to be able to do something like that. We have defense in the back row telling you, hey, this is open, and you see those big blockers in front of you. You're not going to pound away in front of that. If you want to be smart and you want to get that team out of system or maybe even get a kill, you can just put it in that box and confusion every time. Doesn't matter if they know it's coming or not, it's going to be confusion, and we're going to get an easy ball back, and one of us is going to kill on it. So
I think that last point's actually really key in that a lot of times when you hit that roll shot, what happens is the ball comes back, but the ball comes back really free because you get a lot of collapse to the middle, and the first up isn't oftentimes right on the setter. So you wind up creating a shot for another player or yourself the next time the ball comes to your side. Yeah. This time of the year, everybody's sorting through rosters, trying to figure out who new people are, who transfers are, getting ready for broadcasts and things like that. And you look through rosters, and as I look through rosters, you're the only number 28 in our conference. And so that made me think, some teams just assign jerseys from 1 to 15 or whatever it is. Give me the etymology of the 28. Why 28?
Well, my papa, on my mom's side, he was a preacher, and he loved Romans 8:28, the verse. He just absolutely loved it. And Sabi, when I first came in, she was 8, and I was like, you know what? No one's got a 28, and I like 28, and I love my papa, so I might as well. So that's kind of where it came from, but mainly the Romans 8:28 and my love for Sabi, but she's not here, so...
So you carry on the 28 part, the verse part, and she gets the chapter part of Romans 28. Yeah, one of my favorites, too. All things work together for those who are called according to his purpose. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is in terms of style. We talked about leadership a little bit, and I talked to Jordan, and, Jordan's pretty vocal. OJ is very vocal. Jackie's kind of a jokester, but, is also a leader. Your leadership style is not one necessarily that's in somebody's face first, but talk a little bit about how you're able to still lead despite pretty much being somebody that's a lead by example or quieter on the court.
Well, D-Hemp has told me over and over my 4 years to do my job and do it at the highest that I can, and others will follow. And my parents have told me since day one, you lead by example because actions are louder than words. And I come off really mean, and I don't mean to. I think it's just the way in my brain I'm processing what I need to say, but I'm not thinking of, how I'm saying it or how this is going to affect that person, or I'm really just saying what I'm thinking. So I have learned that over the years, and I've come to terms that maybe I'm not the best one to be like, hey, you need to do this. So instead, I just do my job, and I let my other captains take care of the vocal part.
In terms of academics, remind me now, you're close to or done or about to be done with your undergraduate work here. I know we had talked about that kind of off camera before. Is that right? Are you getting close to actually finishing a degree?
Yeah, actually, I don't even have class Monday and Tuesday. No, Monday and Wednesday. But yeah, so I'm real close. I got 9 hours, and they're all on Tuesday, Thursday. So I'm just, coasting through. And once I'm done, hopefully, I'll graduate. Hopefully. And then get out there in the real world and find a temp job until I get my certification. And then once I get my certification for SLP, I'll try and make it into grad school in 2 years. So,
how do you like that all TR schedule? I always try and stack all my teaching classes on TR. I kind of like having some people like to have these big blocks of time. I kind of like the all TR deal. You liking that so far?
No, I love it. I actually only have one class. I have a class on Tuesday only, and then the other 2 are Tuesday, Thursday. So tomorrow I get to sleep in, go to 2 classes, and, it's been really nice. You get to recover and recruit. Volleyball is what I want to do, and this is what we're going to do. So it's nice to have those Monday, Wednesday, Fridays to just relax and focus in. So.
And finally, Tori, you mentioned about your pawpaw. You mentioned about, family, and your family has pretty much been ever present during the 4 years you've been here. Your mom, your dad, they travel to see you a lot. They're here in Shelton Gym a lot. Your brother. I just wanted to give you a chance to kind of wrap up by talking about them, kind of what their influence has been on you while you've been at SFA and before, and just as support that mom and dad and brother have been able to bring.
Oh, man. My family is pretty much the reason I'm even who I am. They have so much support and so much love. It's just, I hope I don't cry, but I love them so much, and they just, whatever I want to do, they are there for it. And
we have light. Tori and I are wrapping up. She's been patient to be the last one here we talked to today, and we have automatic light. So let me just let you finish with that thought. They've just always been sort of a big support to you, I know, and I feel like that you have a really strong relationship with the two of them.
I do. I definitely do. Of course, they played volleyball. My whole family played volleyball. So they taught me from day one. I think that's why my IQ for the court is so good, because my dad knows how to play. My mom knows how to play. She was a setter. So I got the setter side, I got the hitter side, I got the defensive side. So I just know what's good and what's not. So I definitely credit all of my knowledge to my parents and, of course, my coaches along the way. But they definitely have always been there, and my brother just keeps it light and happy, and he's a genius, and I'm so proud of that guy. But he doesn't know it, but I play for him too, so definitely love him for sure, all of them.
Tori Bates literally lights out in Shelton Gym right here to finish up this interview. Fans, we'll have our own tournament hosted this weekend. Our games are at 12 on Friday against Northeastern. They're from Boston. They're making a long trip. And then Texas Tech, who we play fairly regularly, will be in here at 5:30. That'll be our first ESPN3 broadcast of the year. And then 2 matches on Saturday against South Dakota State, returning the favor for being up there last year. And then Columbia from New York City making its way to East Texas. That'll be a little culture shock. Tori, thanks for being willing to sit down with us this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you.